All right, what's up, guys? We're back here doing some work on the drift car right here. I wound up getting the whole front suspension off. I got the frame rails kind of cleaned up. There was motor mounts on the top side and some other mounts here on the side, so I got that all cleaned up. Obviously, it's not ground down to metal yet because I don't have my Mustang 2 front, but all that stuff's over here. So you can see again, this rear end is so weird because this like drive shaft tube is attached to the diff, or the third member, whatever you want to call it, and then it runs the whole length, most of the length of the car, and then you can see inside there is the actual drive shaft. And I didn't even notice it until I removed it, but the springs, this is just cool info, not really pertinent to the drift build, but the spring packs are actually on pivots right here. Pretty cool. I mean, it kind of sucks, but it's pretty cool. So I actually I got a Ford 9-inch. I'm still kind of on the fence if it's going to work. I think I can make it work, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I got a 9-inch. I'm going to be taking that apart today, getting measurements, getting numbers off of it so I can order the right parts for it. And then also I've got a firewall brake booster and clutch master cylinder kit, I guess you can say, that goes in place of this panel. I don't even know what this panel was for from the factory, because when I took it off there was nothing on either side of it. It was just a blank panel. I don't know, but I forget what company I ordered it from, but they make a nice kit. I was hanging because I just painted it. This will bolt onto there, and then we got some brackets right here that bolts onto that plate, and then the pedals are hanging up right here. We got a clutch, a brake pedal, some more brackets, and there's a bunch of hardware laying over here. It included these like coarse machine screws or whatever, because those are kind of what the factory screws were, holding that plate into the firewall. But I think what I'm going to do is drill the holes out and replace them with proper nuts and bolts, just for a better fit, because I'm going to be slamming that clutch pedal, slamming on that brake pedal. All right, and here's that 9-inch I was telling you about. So it's out of a late 70s Lincoln Versailles, and I guess these are apparently some kind of oddball 9-inch rear end, because they actually came standard with disc brakes. However, the disc brakes, I've read that they are not very good, and the parking brake system is not very good. I don't really care about that stuff. It's all going to come off anyways, because I'm going to do some weld-on brake kits, because I got to do a dual caliper kit anyways. But yeah, it's just an oddball rear end apparently. Some people love them, some people hate them. It's actually very narrow in respect to other 9-inch rear ends, so I should be able to put a nice wide wheel in there and not have it stick out way too far. Again, I still don't know what wheels I'm using. I'll get to that later. But with it being as narrow as it is, if I need to, I can always add spacers. But it's kind of hard to, narrow an axle when it's already under the car, if you know what I mean. All right, so let's get to it. Yeah, I'm gonna put those that brake booster and clutch master bracket on and start taking apart this rear end. So got the pedals in, look pretty good. Don't mind this. This is just yeah, jeez. Okay, that was just a windshield wiper cable. But anyways, yeah. So they mount to the dash up here for extra strength, and then this goes back to the firewall, and then there's one on this side as well. Pretty cool. I mean, yeah, pretty strong. I'll have to figure out what to do for pedals that didn't give me, the kit didn't actually give me pedals, so I'll have to figure that out, and then, you know, adjust everything once it's all set up. But yeah, I like it. Turned out pretty good. Like I said, I replaced those screws with nuts and bolts all the way around. It's in there real good. Heck yeah, man. Hey, so got some more updates, I guess you could say. Got the front cross member on the car. Sorry I didn't take any video of it in action. I was just kind of in a rush to get it done. Looks pretty good. It's wound up being like in the perfect position. You know, it's not, one side isn't back further than the other, so real happy about that. Also got a ton of parts delivered. Got my Ford 9-inch housing right here. I welded the bottom 4-link brackets to it already and got the links on there just to kind of see how it went. I got axles right here that still need to be cut. Nice third member right here. It is 31 spline, 411 ratio, full spool. Won't have to worry about welding the diff or anything. And then I just got my big old brake kit here. So we've got rotors, we've got coil springs, we've got spindles, we've got motor mounts, we've got brake hardware including the hoses, we've got shocks, we've got coil spring pads, these top hats that still need to be welded to the frame. We've got tie rod ends, we've got caliper brackets, calipers, brake pads, upper A-arms, lower A-arms, and a big old bag of hardware. So I'm pretty excited. We're getting real close. I've been working pretty much every day, I think. I also got the stock gas tank modified to be ready for fuel injection. Actually, I still need to do the return line on that. Need to do the return port. Yeah, so it's coming along, and I can't wait. Ooh, it's looking good. Can't wait. All right, so I got some of the front suspension installed. Take a look here. Lower arms, upper arms, all the welding is done. Cross members, upper hats, power steering rack, as you can see. I didn't put the springs in yet because I want to wait till I get more weight on the car. And that's actually what I'm going to be doing next. I think I'm going to go ahead and get the engine and trans in. I got my motor mounts. My trans mount is on the transmission. So yeah, let's see. Let's stick this in there. Yo, what up? Man, that actually went right on time. It was like 3 hours pretty much exactly to get the engine in there. And it is in there. Let me show you guys what we got. Okay, well, first of all, let me give you an overall. Very nice. Sitting right at about 3 degrees or so, maybe, something like that. Right where you want it. Take that out, you know. Yeah, buddy. Ooh, little bit of room right here, but definitely plenty. Excited to see what I'm gonna do for exhaust. Tons of room for the oil pan. I wanted it this high because I wanted the bottom of the oil pan like even with the bottom of the cross member. Let's see, and it might be a teeny tiny bit lower, but I mean, if I want to, I could just weld a piece of steel under here to get this lower than the pan, but I think it'll be all right. I went with biscuit style motor mounts. You see there, that allows me to, if I need to take the engine out, I can loosen the hardware, lift the engine a tiny bit and slide out the motor mounts, and then I can slide the engine forward. The motor mounts I use on the Fairlane are the kind where there's like round bushing on the engine, and then there's 2 triangular pieces that go to it, and then you put a bolt through all of it. I didn't really like those. I mean, they were okay, but I didn't really like them because when you take the hardware out, you have to lift the engine up before you can move it forward. And if you have firewall clearances, I've got tons of room on this, I think, but if you were to have firewall clearances issues, this may be the way to go for motor mount style. Okay, these are just universal LS weld-in mounts. Now, these are supposed to only be for 27 to 32 inch wide frame rails. Frame rails on this car are like 22 inch wide. What I had to do was the last hole, there's a series of holes. The last hole I had to slot like an inch or inch and a half long. And it's like as far in as it can go. And it could actually go a little bit further. I might have to do it a little bit further, but I can do it later. Now that it's in and in place, it's all right. There's a little hole right here that would be perfect for my clutch lines to go through eventually. So I'll get around to that. That's just, you know, whatever stuff. And then the trans mount, this is a couple pieces of metal that I had cut off from the motor mounts, just like, and you can see this piece here I was talking about, multiple holes, 1, 2, and then there's one there, of course. And it's all 1/4 inch steel, it's real strong. And then I got a nice big bolt going through this cross member. Here it is from the back. Yes, I know the bolt is kind of long, but there's tons of room here. Nothing's gonna happen, and I didn't feel like going through the extra work of cutting it. No one's gonna see it. I don't care about the extra, you know, 1/3 of an ounce that this extra threaded area weighs. I'll make up for it with horsepower. Yeah, tons of room for the drive shaft. Here, let me scoot back. So yeah, you can see right there is the trans output. Let me get centered. And it's like dead center, guys. I'm loving it. Tons and tons of room for the shift linkages. Not gonna have to worry about that at all. The shifter itself, you know, tons and tons of room. I have the stock cover that goes over the front of this, and then I'm gonna have to make a piece for this area. But yeah, there's just one little piece right here I have to bend back. It got caught with the engine going in and out, in and out. But yeah, man, there's tons of room between the bell housing. It's amazing. I was afraid I was gonna have to beat this bell housing in, but nope, tons and tons of room. And if you look here, like 90% of the engine weight is behind the front wheels. So it's gonna be balanced really well. Yeah, it's gonna be balanced really well. I'm super excited. This is a huge milestone, of course, as any person that does car work knows, getting the engine and transmission in. Huge milestone. I'm super happy. Oh, yeah, this is gonna be sweet.